Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got another interesting story for you guys that you definitely want to be, stick around to hear. So, but before we get into that, make sure you guys go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. So yesterday, I was listening to an interview with Charles Barkley on the show called Take Off, right? It's a show I just discovered called Take Off, and he was on there for about an hour, right? And he was on there for about an hour, but he spent a good amount of his time talking about Ben Simmons because he was questioned about Ben Simmons. So when the host of the show asked Charles Barkley what he thought about the situation, the current state of affairs of Ben Simmons, he didn't hold back at all. And it's also worth noting that Charles Barkley started his NBA career with the Philadelphia 76ers, and he said that he normally spends his summers there. So maybe the organization is near and dear to his heart, and obviously the fans are near and dear to his heart. So before we go too far, I want to play some of the things that he said regarding the Ben Simmons situation. So before we go too far, take a listen to some of his comments that he made here.
So in this situation, I'm hearing Danny Green the other day at practice. He says, look, we're not asking Ben to come in here and shoot jump shots. He can just do what he used to do. I'm thinking like, wow. It's almost
and John, that's part of the problem because and I blame, it goes back to Brett Brown, and Doc Rivers has something to do with it also. Because, John, how long have we been talking about this? I mean, people act like it came to a head last year in the playoffs, but I think we've been talking about Ben Simmons' inability afraid to shoot for like 4 years now. And he already got one coach fired. And then last year, we had the Sixers on quite a bit. And Doc Rivers, who I like as a person, always defended Ben. He's like, you want me to bitch Ben Simmons? You want me to take Ben Simmons out of the game? Yes, we do, Doc. If he's not going to shoot the basketball, it's 5-on-4. If you're going to have 4 guys against 5, listen, John, I'm not going to act like I went to class a lot. I didn't go to class a lot, but I know 4 guys are not going to beat 5 ever. Listen, if a fight breaks out, there's 4 of you guys and other people got 5, no, you're probably going to lose. So Doc has got to say, no, man, we need you to shoot the basketball. We need you to, you can't get on TV and say, you guys want me to bench Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons does all this other stuff. Yeah, he does a lot of other good stuff, but he's going to have to shoot the basketball to keep the defenses honest. So the Sixers deserve a lot of blame, but the ultimate blame comes down to Ben. Ben, we need you to get better as a basketball player. We need you to at least keep the defense on and shoot the basketball. We can't have you afraid to shoot free throws. That's not a lot to ask. That's why I'm just like, if I had said to Moses, no, man, I'm not fat and lazy, I would have probably eaten my way out to NBA. And for the money they're paying Ben Simmons, which matters, we owe you $150, $60 million for the next 5 or 6 years. We have the ability and the right to ask you to get better as a basketball player. But your first response was, no, I'm going to take my bat and ball and go home. That's not good. That's why I'm disappointed in Ben. But like I say, the Sixers deserve some blame because this goes back to Brett Brown. Brett Brown did not hold him accountable, and he got fired. So the next coach and the organization should have been saying, hey, Ben, you've already got one coach fired. You got to get better as a basketball player because every year in the playoffs when we start playing the good teams, they're going to force you to shoot the basketball. It's not going to matter against Orlando and Sacramento in game 6 and 36 and 52. But when we played the Milwaukee Bucks, the Brooklyn Nets, Chicago made a great improvements this summer. The Miami Heat got better. We're not going to beat the elite teams if you're afraid to shoot the basketball, plain and simple.
So in those clips, listen, Charles Barkley had a lot to say, and we only played a few minutes of it. That thing is about 40 plus minutes long, and he kept on going in detail, and he said a lot of different things, but I want to focus on the things that he said, at least that we played, and I want to say that I do agree with his points about the Philadelphia 76ers to a certain extent enabling Ben Simmons, and this is usually what happens, right? When you give people a lot of leeway, they all of a sudden believe that they can act any kind of way with you. The moment you try to then tell them, listen, you've gone too far, it becomes a problem. because they're already used to behaving a certain way with you. That's essentially what happened with the Philadelphia 76ers. They gave him all of this leeway. They didn't really force him to improve his game. And then all of a sudden, when the situation got really bad and they said, listen, Ben, you really got to step it up here, all of a sudden it became an issue. But if they had started the relationship with him in the right way, I don't think it would be such a big deal right now when, Joel Embiid or Doc Rivers made those comments, right? If he was already kind of used to that type of strong, constructive criticism, I don't think Ben Simmons would have felt as if he was being attacked and they were trying to, make him look bad and all of these different things. But ultimately, that's how it ended up turning out. Now, I do also agree with what he said as far as expectations, right? Because, Danny Green said, when nobody's asking him to shoot, just be a professional. And Charles Barkley obviously disagree with that. And here are my thoughts on this. I don't think there's anything wrong with having expectations from your teammates. Where's the crime in that? Like, what's wrong with having expectations from people that you work with? I think the only people that don't want to have expectations or don't want to feel like as if they need to be responsible for other people is people that are just extremely irresponsible, right? People that are irresponsible don't want to be put in a situation in which where they feel that they need to be held accountable, right? It's like you're working with somebody, on a project or whatever it is. You work with somebody in a company, you guys are trying to build a project. Everybody's trying to make sure that they hit their milestones, and you have one guy who's just there kind of marching to the, tune of his own drums or whatever it is. And then the minute you say, hey, man, I thought we were supposed to deliver on this on Monday. It's Monday. We haven't heard from you. What's going on? And the guy all of a sudden, why are you guys coming at me like this? I'm my own free spirit and blah, 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 blah. This is somebody that's irresponsible, that's not used to dealing with expectations. I think there's nothing wrong with that if everybody else is pulling their own weight and doing their best to achieve a single goal. There's nothing wrong with that. And Charles Barkley saying that they should try to hold him accountable. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with having expectations of people, for God's sakes? Do you want people just to skate through? Nobody should have any expectations of you. Nothing should be expected from you. You should just be able to go through life and not, and everybody should just be kissing up to you and saying nice things to you. I don't agree with that. And I think having expectations is a good thing. Also, I want to say something here that I didn't say in any of the previous videos, but I probably said it once, but I want to say it here. I think Ben Simmons got some terrible advice from his agent, Rich Paul. I think Rich Paul gave Ben Simmons terrible advice, terrible counsel. Essentially, Rich Paul basically enabled Ben Simmons to basically say, listen, my feelings are hurt and I'm not going to show up. I want you to trade me. He enabled him to the point where Ben Simmons started losing money. Right? Because remember, if he would be fined, he would lose money if he didn't play in preseason games, mixed practices, all of these different things. Ben Simmons started losing money. You go through all of those different motions just to turn around at the very end to still show up in Philadelphia and show up to training camp. So if that's what you ultimately ended up doing, what was the purpose of all of that? And who was left holding the bag? You're the one that lost your salary. Did Rich Paul lose his salary? Now, obviously, some people say, he probably lost some command. That was a stupid thing. I don't understand what was accomplished in all of that, right? And that's probably one of the reasons why Doc Rivers and Rich Paul got into that shouting match at his house, where Doc Rivers said he is under bleeping contract. I thought he got some terrible counsel, but nevertheless, he still went ahead with it. I don't understand how that was good counsel. And I think that was something that was kind of missed in the entire Ben Simmons story. A lot of people are talking about Ben Simmons is doing this. Why is he doing this? This is a bad thing. This is a bad idea. Forgetting to mention the fact that Rich Paul was his agent, is his agent. He's the one that's giving him counsel. And then at the end of all of that holding out, all of this thing, I'm not showing up, all of this, don't come to see me, and all of these different things, just to end up back in Philly again. What did you really accomplish? Not a bloody thing, nothing. Nothing was accomplished, and somehow he ended up losing money for nothing because he ended up in the same place he could have been in before and kept his money. So you were standing on principle, but you weren't willing to stand long enough, and then you lost your money. So to me, I think that was something that was kind of missed along the way. But anyway, I just felt like I had to get that part off my chest. So my question from you is, what do you think about the comments that Charles Barkley made? Do you think it was fair, unfair? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.